Hello, welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, welcome.
Thank you. You look very studious.
Thank you. Awesome. Well, welcome to this meeting that we have today. And we're going to have 4 beautiful speakers. But before we get into that, I would ask if everybody can just put their microphones on mute, if that's okay. Perfect. Well, good morning, everyone, and thanks for taking the time to join us today. We'd like to thank our Workspace 365 for making this event possible. Workspace 365 is a leading provider of co-working meeting room training rooms, as well as virtual office provider with 14 prime locations in Melbourne, Sydney and Brisbane. For more information, you can go to workspace365.com.au. Our 4 expert speakers will unpack what it means to cultivate mental and emotional resilience, mastering your mind, and rebuilding personal and professional momentum in post-COVID world. Just got a few more people coming in.
Do you want me to admit them for you while you're speaking?
Yeah, I would love that if that's possible. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Perfect. There will be a Q&A session at the end of the presentation to give you the opportunity to ask the speakers directly any questions you may have. Our first speaker, Amanda Scott, is a stress management consultant. She's the author of Create Success from Stress, which has been given the Gold Seal of Excellence by the New York Times. We're going to be starting with Amanda in approximately a minute. Our first speaker, Amanda, will begin very shortly. Got a few more people coming in, and Office 365 has beautiful locations. You know, a little bit about the backstory of Office 365 is that, you know, they have workspace rooms, you can have meetings, and you can hold events there as well. And obviously we're holding one right now. Perfect. So whenever you are ready, Amanda, we are going to start.
Yes. Hi, welcome everyone. Lovely. Thank you for coming and joining us all for this event. And thank you for hosting this today. Now, I'm really, really passionate about helping people manage and maintain their inner strength. And it's really, really so important, especially in these times today, to really get back into your strength. Why is it important? Well, did you know that 95% of all illnesses and diseases are due to stress? And the remainder, 5%, is genetic stress. And this is according to the Stanford University Medical School. And that was brought out back in 1998. So it really means that all emotional and physical pain is due to stress. So knowing this, I really wanted to find a really simple, easy way to be able to understand stress and also to be able to live without stress. So I leveraged some research from the Berkeley University that states that you need a certain amount of stress to entice the brain to develop new cells. So through this, knowing this, and working with many clients, I came up with 8 areas of stress. Now, and each of these 8 areas is there for your growth and development, both personally and professionally, to get back into your strength. So you might ask, so how can I transform my mindset into a thriving, happy, successful way moving forward? And I'd like to share today one of these ways that you can do this. So I'd like to share with you these 8 areas. I'm going to show you this chart that hopefully will be a tool that you can use. Let me just have a look here. Okay. Right. Can everyone see that? Yes? The host,
No.
Jennifer?
No.
You can't see that. Okay. Do I have access to share here? I'm just having a look here.
You might need to have access to share, I think.
Yes, that's right.
I'll give you that. Yep. Sorry, Amanda.
Thank you. No, that's okay.
Make you a co-host.
Okay. Is that on that? You are, yeah. Is that on now? Can anybody see that?
No. Yet.
Or do I need to get back out and press it? Maybe, perhaps I do, because I really like to share this with you so that you can have a look. Yes. Let me just have a look here. Share. Wonderful. Okay. Oops. Yeah, I think we're on now. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yep, lovely. Okay, so here we've got the 8 areas of stress. And what happens with these 8 areas is that we have initial stress. And this initial stress first comes in, and these are the 8 areas of them, and it comes in with a thought or a negative thought or a negative feeling. And we've got 2 choices with this. We can either drive this, we can either take it as an opportunity and drive, and we do this by being in that positive emotional state while going through this initial stress, or what happens is we can actually hold on to it, and it becomes and prolong it, and it becomes a negative state in the body. And these negative states are the ones that cause emotional and physical pain. So so this is a little chart that you can check in with, and you can see, do I worry? Am I easily angry? Or do I get nervous easily? And you can check in to see whether you are actually in these negative states and what you do to drive forward to be able to become more in those positive states. Because we all know that when we all feel good, we make the best decisions in those states. So I might pass you on now to the next speaker. If you'd like to know anything else, a little bit more about where you are in those states, then please, please give me a call. I've got some information here if you want to take a screenshot of it. And I'm more than happy to spend 10 minutes, 15 minutes just to see where you are on that chart and to see how you can move forward and really thrive. Yes,
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Amanda.
Wonderful. Okay.
Really appreciate you sharing your insights into what's happening at the moment. Our next speaker will be Deborah Fairfull, who is committed to the ongoing improvement of the world we live in and believes in the power of individuals. Her simple and practical approach to raising awareness allows people to connect to true peace and happiness, regardless of external events. And such, she founded Blisspot, an online community that transforms everyday lives. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Helder. I'm absolutely delighted to be here and to have the opportunity to talk about my absolute favourite topic in the world, and that is how we can create bliss every day. So I'm going to share some slides with you just to go through a few things, because a lot of people think, well, is this actually even possible? You know, that's quite a big claim, creating bliss every day, particularly when the world seems so unstable. And I'm just trying to share my screen here. Oh, I know what's happened. That's all right. So here it is. For some reason, it's just coming in on the Zoom screen, isn't it? Let's get rid of those. Huh. So everybody can see my messy desktop. I don't know why it says it's sharing. Just again, I'm a bit like Amanda. I really would love you to see these slides. Right there. To think of something else. Right. Can everyone see them now? Or no? Screen. I'm definitely choosing the one. Can everybody see the slides now?
Yes.
I think that's working. Thank you for bearing with that.
Yes.
So yes, as I was saying, a lot of people think, well, is this even possible? You know, we've got viruses to deal with. You know, Australia had massive bushfires at the beginning of the year. There's so many things that are happening. Is this even possible? But I guess I'm really inspired by Viktor Frankl. So he wrote the book Man's Search for Meaning, and he actually was in a concentration camp during the Holocaust, and he was able to find internal peace regardless of what was going on around him. And I think that's a great inspiration. But in our daily life, what actually can limit us is our mind and the way we think about things and the way we feel about the world. That actually impacts everything, the way we interact. But the good news is that if we know what limits us, we can work with that to actually live in a more expanded way and get and invite more peace, more joy, and more love into our life on a daily basis. So I'm going to share with you 4 tips to do this. And the first of these is to tune into your body. When we live in a conscious way, that is when we understand what we are thinking and what we're feeling and how that impacts our behaviors, that gives us choices. And the first thing we have to do is to tune into our body. Our body is an amazing supercomputer, and it gives us all we need to know to live in a consistent state of peace and harmony. And it is our emotions that can make us really unstable. We can be feeling absolutely fine, and then the next minute we will be taken away from our peace. And this is because, generally speaking, of what we're thinking and what we're feeling, because they actually are as one. What we think affects how we feel, and how we're feeling is driven by our thoughts. So a really helpful tool can be, and we're obviously doing this so quickly, I could talk about this for 4 hours, and we're trying to do it in 5 minutes, but a really good way to tune into your body and start to get some stability in your life is to ask yourself at any given moment, particularly if you're feeling tense, what am I feeling now and what am I thinking now? And that leads me on to my second point, which is about making your mind your friend, because what we think impacts everything. Everything begins and ends with our thoughts. And the situation that we don't want to be in is where our mind is controlling us. It's mental looping, or it's catastrophizing situations and making things quite often worse than what they really are. However, if we learn to work with our mind and make it our friend, we can live in a very conscious way, and we can really determine and decide and make choices around being peaceful and happy. Another big block for people often is if they're carrying around their past. And I really invite people, if they've had incidents or traumas or things that have happened, to make peace with those, because if we carry them around, it can tend to make us feel very heavy, and it impacts our health, how we feel about ourselves and our relationships. And one of the big ways that you will know if you're carrying around your past in some way is your triggers. That's when we have an emotional reaction to something. That is often a key that there's something there that perhaps we need to make peace with. Perhaps we have to practice some forgiveness to really let that go, so we can invite that flow and love and joy into our life once more. Living your life on purpose is something I'm incredibly passionate about, because when we do what we love, and we've all got our own special gifts and talents, we're all on this earth for some reason. And when we tune into that and tap into that and express that on a daily basis, I know my time's nearly up, so I'll just quickly finish this off. it allows us to be the leader in our life. And when we're doing what we love, it's like the small incidental things aren't that important so important anymore, because we're really aligned and living in that positive state. And that allows us to be expanded in the way we are with ourselves, our health, and our relationships. And when we're true to ourselves, we're able to express that joy, because we're here to be creative, happy, fulfilled individuals. So that's all. That was a very short period of time to discuss those concepts, but I've got an online wellness community. It's got leading global experts from all over the world that contribute to it. They're on all those topics I've discussed today, which allow you to really expand and dive deeper. So if you'd like to it's a free membership. If you'd like to join up, go to blisspot.com and become a member today. So
Amazing. Thank you so much for that, Deborah.
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you sharing all those beautiful things that you shared. It's, everybody needs to hear that, and I appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thank you, Hilda.
You're most welcome. And now I'm going to be introducing our other guest speaker, Alina Berdjevski. Hopefully I said that right. Is a cognitive coach and communications consultant who has curated the best of neuroscience, philosophy, and positive psychology into her signature cognitive reset program. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Oh, why, thank you very much. It's really great to go after Amanda and Deborah, because my passion has always been about unpacking and understanding how we work, because we're actually designed for excellence and survival and thriving and being bigger than our problems. And I think right now there could be this predisposition to divide our times into pre-COVID, COVID, and post-COVID world. And whilst without a doubt, family dynamics and industries and kind of our own priorities could be changed by this crisis and or opportunity, depending which angle we look at it, the triggers are always going to remain the same. And I believe that a commitment to daily cognitive and personal fitness and emotional intelligence is an ongoing process which will help us override those challenges that we had and have beforehand. And what I mean by those is a predisposition to stress, as Amanda has mentioned, a predisposition to uncertainty about what's going to happen in the future with the economy, with the pandemic, and also the ongoing influx and stimuli of messages from the media that may not be our own. So I'm going to whiz through a little presentation that I've created as well. I am hoping that it's going to be third time lucky on the slide front. And I'm going to share my screen with what I predict will be minimal challenge. It's all right, we all have a desktop. So can you see my slides? Can you see my screen?
I can. Very good.
All right, so at the end of the day, it's very easy to collapse into powerlessness when we are feeling that our problems are bigger than us. And that is where the term of resilience and fitness comes in, because powerlessness leads to rumination and the spikes of those chemicals that can really, in essence, stress you out and make you more predisposed to sabotaging behaviors. And quite a few studies have found, such as Penn State University, and I'm happy to quote and provide those, that substance addictions of any kind and technological addictions, whether it's eBay shopping or social media or the traditional, websites that people can frequent. So powerlessness creates a chemical reality which can kind of put us into a sinkhole where we tend to ruminate more of our problems and distract with behaviors that further take away our cognitive power. Okay. How do you do next on this? So our future is in our mind, even though we may think that, well, I don't know where my industry is going to be next year, or I don't know whether I'll be relocating towns, let alone countries. We can still plant the seeds of what we want in our subconscious, and then the reticular activating system will generate solutions that are in line with what you're seeking. you know, the old stereotype, I'm looking to buy a yellow Lamborghini, then I'm going to see yellow cars everywhere, Lamborghinis or otherwise. And the third predisposition to our focus really is language. William S. Burroughs, who is a philosopher and a neuroscientist, said that language is like a virus itself, capable of infecting or propagating and spreading ideas within its host. So when we are saying to ourselves pre-COVID, during and over testing times, like, oh my God, the world's gone to crap, and oh, this will take at least another 22 months, and what's happening and the world's ending, we are perpetuating those realities. And when enough of us say them en masse, it really starts to deplete us in that sense of powerlessness, and kind of humanity drops, and then greater powers can hijack a sense of sovereignty over the future. And that is how a lot of political systems and media narratives can form. But we are at the root of that through beginning those defeatist narratives to begin with. And that's just how we are wired. That's how the brain sort of hijacks us. This is a slide just to show the daily news feed, and I will provide these slides. So the first solution is to manage your biochemistry, kind of knowing yourself and knowing that, you know, we're in a daily balance between cortisol and our serotonin levels. So a person who wakes up in the morning and does what sets them up for the day, whether it go for a run, meditate, journal, plan their day, put on an excellent outfit, or all of the above, is very different to the person that can guzzle down 2 cups of coffee, open the news, open emails, start to stress out, and then be in a WhatsApp group that is sending negative news and conspiracy theories. And sometimes that can be the same person, like that can be me if I don't watch myself. So biochemistry is massive in terms of where we're going to direct our thought and energy for the day. Then controlling our focus every day. I mean, this is a ninja thing. I mean, I've had to follow quite a few people online who I thought were just spreading really unhelpful narratives. And equally, I've had clients of mine actually leave WhatsApp groups that were just generating negativity. Wonderful friends, would still go for a tea or coffee with them or lunch now that things are opened up. But it's really important to just really know where your information is coming from and seeking. We kind of know this, but it's just a reminder to be quite vigilant with what you're monitoring. Even TV shows on Netflix, it all starts to create a narrative. And I mean, language, if it is that virus that propagates realities, where are we parroting disempowering narratives? Where do we hear a news broadcast that, you know, travel will only resume in 2022, and we start to tell everyone that and generate it? But the thing is, no one knows. It could be 2024, but it could be mid next year. By kind of going with those uncertainties and keep feeding them, we're kind of crystallizing a world where, like, there's no option to move or entertain new possibilities. So as a solution, my slides are, so these are some examples of forward-oriented language, such as we're on our way through. I'm curious to see where this transition can take us. We're in the process of transitioning to a new, better reality. That can be just as true in times of uncertainty, yet it opens up much wider possibilities. So in terms of what is the best way to remain cognitively fit, and I know this time is wrapping up, is through whole brain functioning. So a lot of therapies, a lot of techniques are either left or right brain dominant. However, when we combine them together, it is a much cleaner and quicker way to integrate beliefs in your realities and release stress. And I guess it's fusing the head and the heart, the creative and the rational. And the 3 phases that I've developed around that, just a bit of a fast track, is tools to help you develop your cognition and sharp thinking so that you get back into that zone, you know, returning back to work, coming up with new solutions if your old realities have been disrupted. Melting stress and resistance is step number 2, because then ideas can, and the unhealthy stress, of course, that Amanda was referring to, because that's when creativity and clear thinking can thrive. And whole brain goal mapping, that allows a sense of possibility with a sense of reality. And my invitation is just to have a quick chat after the webinar if you're interested, just for a cognitive fitness pathway that is designed uniquely for you and your learning style, to see what can open up in only the way that you can thrive, and nobody else will have the same cognitive plan as you. So thank you so much for the space to quickly share this today.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Alina. I really appreciate you sharing all of that amazing content there. And yeah, again, if you want to reach out, you can just screenshot that and follow the details. Our next guest speaker, introducing Jennifer Austin, is an image expert on visual presentation and first impression management. She combines her experience and research on clothing psychology to help individual and organization turn up their first impression and their ability to influence by creating a professional image of success. Welcome. Thank you, Jennifer.
Before I start, I'd like to ask you 3 questions. Do you know what color you would wear when you want to feel powerful? If you have a hot date tonight, what would you wear? Do you have an accessory that you wear to an important meeting? So we all know we can feel fantastic, but why do many people put little thought on what they're wearing daily? My name is Jennifer Austin. I'm an image expert, and in the next 5 minutes, I will explain why 7 seconds is a critical number and how what you're wearing is impacting your life more than you realize. A research by Adam and Galinsky from Columbia University did a study on how clothing impacted our brains, and therefore how people perform in simple tasks. In the study, he had 2 groups. One group wore street clothes, and the other group were asked to wear a lab coat. And the task was, let me share with you. Okay. Helder, I need to share something here. I'm disabled on screen sharing. Okay. Sorry for the delay. So here you go. Name the colors that the words are written in. So the lab coat wearers made significantly less errors than the other group. He concluded that by simply putting an item of clothing, we cannot help but adapt those traits associated with it, even when we're aware of it. So the lab coat wearers adapted a higher detail of focus at the task at hand. As I said in the beginning, I was going to explain why 7 seconds is an important number. This is how long people judge you when they meet you for the first time. So they will judge you based on your credibility, your trustworthiness, your intelligence. So in just 7 seconds, someone can meet you and think to themselves if you are capable or a waste of time. What I'd like you to consider now is think about how you want your clothes to make you feel. So if clothing is making an impact on your psychology, why can we put more emphasis on it? 3 reasons why people don't prioritize their clothing. The first one is cost, but it's going to cost you more to get it wrong. Second one, it is my individuality. Being an individual is fantastic, for as long as it's not reducing your opportunities. Third one, I don't really care. People should not judge me based on what I wear, but in reality, people do. I'd like to share a video with you, Seinfeld, and he explains it very well.
Again with the sweatpants. Uncomfortable. You know the message you're sending out to the world with these sweatpants? You're telling the world, I give up. I can't compete in normal society. I'm miserable, so I might as well be comfortable. Hold on a second, I got another.
So,
Again with the sweatpants.
So based on science, this is what happens to our brain, okay? So in those 7 seconds, you've already judged George. So you already have decided whether George is trustworthy or not. You already have decided if George is credible, if he's intelligent, just in 7 seconds. How amazing is that? It's just in a snap of a finger. Let me share a story with you. A client of mine, Sally, 52 years of age, 2 children, recently divorced. She's ambitious and always work hard. When she asked for a pay rise, she didn't get it. And she didn't understand why, because she always worked hard. Since seeking her help and going through the process of improving her visual presentation, Sally came to realize the importance of creating a positive first impression. We never really changed who Sally was. We help her enhance the image that she presents through aligning her wardrobe choices, appropriate body language, grooming, consistent personal messaging. So Sally did get that pay rise, promotion, and even found a partner. So what we're saying here is when she rediscovered what really made her special and changed the way she presented herself at work, the people around her changed how they perceive her, and they also treated her differently. And this created better opportunities for her. Let me tell you the reason why I shared my client's story. Every one of you has a perception in your marketplace, and some of you may not be in control of it. What I'm trying to do here now is challenge you to get intentional in creating your perception. The way you dress, how you talk, how you conduct meetings, all of these things, you have to decide what will the perception be. People and organizations spend a fortune on training and think that training will get them ahead, and yet neglect their first impression. Mastering your first impression online and face-to-face is the first step to success. I help individuals and organizations upskill in the art of first impression. Today, I'm giving a 10-minute complimentary image assessment. Send me an email to book your session at jennifer@imageconcepts.com.au, and let's stay in touch. You can see my details in the slide, and looking forward to hearing from you soon, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, for sharing that. And I want to just congratulate all the speakers for sharing their stories and for sharing what they are currently doing to change the world at this present moment. Okay, so now we have questions and answers. If there's any questions that people will have, I'm sure there'll be plenty. If you want to just pop that into the chat box, we have a nice intimate group right now. If you have questions you want to ask these beautiful speakers, that'd be amazing. Otherwise, I think it was pretty self-explanatory with all the questions that were, I guess, answered from every speaker, the way that they presented themselves. Got a little, yep, amazing, Helen. Most welcome. Most welcome. And is there any questions that perhaps the speakers would love to ask themselves, or ask perhaps any questions that might have arisen for themselves particularly?
I've got a question for Amanda. How can, just a quick one, how can we leverage more of that healthy stress rather than just kind of, as you say, demonizing it, leverage more of the healthy kind? You're still on mute. On mute.
Now, now you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, it's not the healthy stress. We want to be able to drive that initial stress. I don't think any stress is healthy. What we want to be able to do is to be able to get into our inner strength without the stress. But when we get into our inner strength, we really need to know who we are, what we stand for, what's important to us, what our values are. That's what, when you know that, then you can live without any stress because you know what, how to drive through it, holding those positive emotions. And that's what it's about, being in those positive emotions all the time, regardless of whatever's going on around you. Yes, so you are, the only emotion that you really come down to is just staying calm and relaxed while you're going through any of that initial stress. Because it's all there for your growth and development. It's all there for you to grow as a person, to evolve as a person. Yeah.
Amazing.
I hope that answers your question. Yeah.
Amazing. I absolutely love that. I actually have a question as well for Jennifer.
Okay.
What do you think of our impressions of what we're wearing at the moment without being too critical and not being too harsh?
I think you all look good and definitely making an impact with first impression. Good color, good lighting. Yeah, overall, I'd say great.
Great.
Amazing. I absolutely love that. And do we have any more questions coming through?
This is not a question, but I just would probably like to say I really love the way I loved all of the presentations. They're amazing. And just adding on, I really love the way Alina was talking about the narrative. And I agree with that. What we say makes a difference. Like, it does contribute to the group consciousness. And I just think you explained that really well, and it's really relevant for these times. So yeah, I thought that was really good, because people think it's all happening out there, but collectively it's just a expression of what we're all doing as a collective. So yeah, and it's about making the shift to turn it around to become more positive, but each of us plays a part in that. So yeah, it's really great. I picked up stuff. I always learn stuff from other people all the time, from everybody today. Yeah, it's really good.
Amazing. Absolutely love that. Perfect. Well, do we have any?
Elder, I've got a question.
Sure.
So thank you very much, ladies. That was an amazing presentation. I learned so much in that, and it was so nice to have what I probably already know. It just reassures everything. I work in tourism, and our industry has been hit pretty hard. We have like a luxury day tour business that was largely targeting the American market, but now we're going to be working with Sydney-siders and interstate travellers when they can finally come in, and New Zealanders. And I wonder how we can, I guess, what we need to do in order to become more attractive towards that market. I mean, I know what you've said was first impressions is very important, and the way we do things. And I guess our biggest challenge is to try and now change the way we look and the way we promote ourselves, focused on domestic as opposed to international. That's going to be very difficult, but what you said was very interesting. So all of you, thank you.
May I take that to start, Helen? I'm just putting my marketing hat on now, but and without knowing the full structure of your business and how you work, but I would see this pause on international travel as an opportunity to create a lot of content and products around what you already know in the American market. So whilst we can't take the tours, perhaps there's an opportunity for a coffee table book or a tour guide or an amalgamation of postcards and photographs. So take and productize, digitize everything that you already know that will not only allow Sydney-siders, I mean, I'm just parking the Sydney tours aside, but to travel from their couch to these incredible places that you've experienced and know so much about, but also you know, when industries inevitably pick up again, there could be extra income streams and value add for your packages that you offer.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you.
I'd like to add to that as well, because just even us as a family, like we're realizing we're not going to be able to travel internationally for a while, but we're thinking, oh, particularly when the borders open up, let's explore Australia. Like our kids have never been to Ayers Rock or even New Zealand. So I reckon there's going to be a mass, and people will be so desperate to go places because we've been so cooped up. So I think it is, and I'm even thinking on the international stage for my work, Australia's just got so much to offer. Like I think we're going to be stepping up as leaders because everywhere else is, a lot of other places are still in chaos. So I think tourism in Australia could be amazing, and perhaps people will get out and about more and be spending, you know, going up to Queensland or wherever. I mean, I'm sure you've thought of all that already, but yeah.
No, it's all new territory, but yes, it is very exciting, and yes, there's amazing opportunities. So it's about making yourself stand out more, your business making your product standing out more than everyone else. So I just saw the chat came up. How does everybody find me? So there's our logo. It's like a compass. It's called Ultimately Sydney. So we're all about Sydney. In fact, now that we've slightly rebranding, where we'll take the Sydney out of the name of it, and then maybe we'll go Ultimately Mudgee or Orange, and go all the regional parts of New South Wales and take people from Sydney for long weekends. And yeah, there's lots of opportunity. I guess my big and what was really valuable out of this webinar was how to back yourself. Always, like you said, be looking, focus on within you first. Make sure you're great first, because otherwise everything you're going to say is going to sound a bit fake. And yeah, first impression is very important. How we look. Wish me luck.
Good luck.
Amazing. Love that.
I'll just add something on that with first impression. Congratulations again to your business. First impression, I think, is everything, especially we are introducing your business, and the logo, how you look, you are actually the brand of your business. So how you present yourself. So it's not just like your clothing, but even your posture, how you speak, how you carry yourself. So all of that is really part of the whole package. So that is your brand.
Stand up straight.
Amazing. Well, if we don't have any more questions, I've just seen a message here in the chat box. Please keep us posted regardless, Helen. We'd love to check out what you're up to and how you pivot. Amazing. If there's no other questions or anything that any speaker would love to add, I'm going to say thank you. Thank you for coming into this meeting. And it's been an amazing journey so far. And thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Amanda. And thank you,
Helder.
Thank you.
Thank you, Helder. You're amazing as well. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And thanks again for your time today. And I hope you enjoyed the webinar.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.